Hi guys, this is Fluke, and what I'm going to do today is work through a file I wrote to delete files based on the timestamp. And the reason for this is I have a print server and the queue keeps on getting stuck when printing certain files. So what happens is they have to call me, I have to log in, clear the queue, and then they're able to print. And this has happened frequently enough on different servers that I figured, it's time to write a script that will do the work for me. These queue that gets stuck normally happens when printing some PDF out of Edge or image out of the default Windows display or file viewer, and it specifically happens when printing through the print server, which is either server 2016 or server 2019 that I've experienced it at this stage. So the script will basically look at the path where the queue is in. It will then go and determine is the file older than X amount of time. So at this stage it's set to 15 minutes. And then if it is, it will delete it. So you should be able to see the script in front of you now. And as you can see there, quickly scroll up and down, it's quite a short script. This script took me a bit of time to figure out how to write. So I'm going to quickly take you through the mindset on how this script was written. Working with time is quite unique. So I've created a little Excel format. There we go. Just to show you what happened and where I was until I got the solution. And I'm hoping this will help somebody else down the line. So firstly, you got the 12-hour standard or the 24-hour standard. The basic is 12 hours 1 to 12, and then it starts off again 1 to 12. The problem with something like this is if a file is, for instance, I'm going to use an example here, at 12:12, great example, 12:12, I need to go back 15 minutes. There's my little check time. I need to go back 15 minutes, so it's going to go to 11:57, something like that, before I can delete it. So this means if it's at 1 o'clock, I can't go back to 12 o'clock. That's additional writing that has to happen, which just makes it a bit more difficult. The 24-hour standards make this a little bit easier because, if it goes in a minus, and I'll tell you what I mean with a minus just now, I can just minus it from the hour and it will go to 13. Okay. So what I was talking about going into minus is, say this is my current time, 12 to 24. So obviously the 12 should be a 24. And I put a random time of 12 for everything at this stage. My check minutes will be 15 minutes. So anything older than 15 minutes, I want to delete. So I've got a little formula here that says, let's click on it. If this is minus this goes into a minus, take this number, sorry, apologies, let's click there, and minus 1 plus 60. So that's to get the minutes. Otherwise, just take this number minus that and I'll get 57. Similarly, when I do the hours, there you can see I'm doing the same thing, checking on the minutes. So because that's what's happening here, that the minutes goes into a minus. If the minutes goes into a minus, it needs to minus here. And there you can see first problem going into a -1, which is technically not wrong, but working with time, you've got set intervals that you need to look at. What's nice about where I come from for this script is the people that works with the printers works from basically 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So if I've got an hour earlier, just for some of the people coming in earlier, and an hour later, say till 6 o'clock, that covers me. So I don't really need to worry about this -1 and anything there I don't need to worry about because it should clear out even before it gets there. Nothing should happen. I've then gone and created random times to see what happens to each file, and then you can see every time I click, all of them is the same. Similar with the minutes, all of them is the same. Then, just to show you the example of the formula you'll be using, is something like this. So let's click on here. It says if O11, so O11, this one, is bigger than that one, then the file will be deleted based on hours, because just hold on, O11 is bigger than R11, the file won't be deleted. Okay, that's my fault. I was reading that wrong. This isn't true, so it won't take this. It will run to the next if statement. And this if statement says if P11, so this one, is bigger than S11, 37, the file will be deleted based on the minutes. And as you can see immediately there, the problem is the previous day's information if that wasn't deleted. Now, for the most part, this shouldn't be a problem because the idea is to run the script every 5 minutes. Now, if I can show you the task scheduler there, I can't run it anything less than every 5 minutes. Now, obviously, I can go and add additional triggers, say for 9, 11, 9, 12, etc. until I get my full 5 minutes to run it every 1 minute, because I can repeat the task every 5 minutes there. But you know, that's a bit taking overboard. Depends on you. You can decide how you want to do it. The problem with this is the programming behind it, or the logic behind it, gets difficult sometimes, because once you run the script, you notice you've missed something depending on where the time falls. What I decided then to do is rather use a similar tactic to what Excel's done quite a while back. And what Excel has done is they have given numbers to time. So let's quickly open a new tab. What I mean with numbers is if you're going to put in 1 over there, 0.1 over there, and 1.1 over there. If I format this, format cell, I'm going to go to the date, and there's an option here at the date where I can put the date and the time. Let's do this one there. There you can see 1 is actually that date. There's no time allocated. It's basically midnight, 1st of the 1st, 1900. 1.1 is the 1st of the 0 month because it's no actual month or anything in there, 1900. But this is the time, 2:24. So that's early morning. And if you put them both together, obviously 1st of the 1st, 1900 and 2:24 in the morning. So I can do this as well. Let's just format the cell as a timestamp. And I like the 24-hour format, so let's do that one. Okay, let's just make this one 0.1 and this one 1.1 and this one 1. So it's literally midnight. It doesn't give you a date because everything prior to the prior to the dot is day, and everything after the dot is hours. This concept I then took over into the software as well, or the program I did to delete the files. I said, look, 04, that's the hours, times it by 60 plus the minutes, and that will give me this. Now obviously this is wrong because I mean it goes into a minus, so let's do something like 5 o'clock over here. So you can see 010 times 60 plus the minutes is 357. Similarly on this one I've done the same. I said whatever's here times it by 60 plus 25 will give me a number. Now suddenly I've got an integer to compare whether I want to delete the file or not. So 357 is larger than 85, and I can make a decision, you know, when I want to delete it. So this should delete automatically because I mean this is more than 15 minutes that it's been moved, and 15 minutes now literally is that minus 15 minutes. That is it. So I can actually go, just as an example, go minus the 15 minutes. Okay, so it's just complaining. Give me a second. Bigger. Oops, what have I done wrong here? Oh, remember to lock your fields. Wrong button. Lock your fields before you drag it up and down, otherwise it uses the wrong information. There we go. So anything that is created prior to this time gets deleted. So 402 is smaller than this, so the file won't be deleted. Most of the time this shouldn't be a problem if this runs every 5 minutes. but that's the idea. If let's quickly see if I can find one here. There, 882 is bigger than 406, so the file will be automatically deleted. So this is basically the concept that I use to say, look, this is going to be the easiest way to write the software so that it works. Well, it's not a software, it's the script, it's a batch file. But apologies if I say that wrong. So jumping into the script, yeah, it's fine. You'll see that I've written the script so it gives me some information on what's happening. And on the right hand side, you're going to see this file moving the whole time. While I go through the script, you'll see where all of this happens. And this is just purely to give me information so that I can make sure I write the script properly. If I look at the script, so let's take that down a bit. If I look at the script, echo off, that is so that when it runs, I don't have all this weird jargon jumping up. I only want certain information to display, and that information is relevant to what I need. Set local, enable extension, and enable delayed expansions. So this allows me to use variables within a for loop, and this variables is specifically created for use here only. After this variable is not needed anymore, so it can discard that variable. You'll also see where I put a set local at the top, I put an end local at the bottom. That's just to tell it, look, anything that I used in here can now be discarded. I then wrote the time to a little folder, so I just echo to that folder or to that file, and that will give me this. So at this time, I can see exactly what happened. Then I set a minute to check, so a variable on how many minutes to check. So I can make this 10 minutes, it will check for anything prior to 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, doesn't matter. Based on the integer values that I get, I just deduct it, and anything less than that gets deleted. Okay. Spath is another variable which I set the print spooler path. The reason why I do it this way is if I wanted to use this script in another location, and I've actually implemented on a public desktop as well, where there's files they save that can be deleted every X amount of minutes. So I've reused this script as well. Next is the current time. So I just got the time of the system, and I'm going to quickly explain to you what I did over here. So if I open a little command prompt, and we're going to say echo time, so of course it's a variable, you have to put the little percentages on each side, and it will echo this time for us. So we're not interested in the full time, we're only interested in the hours and the minutes, because that's what we're going to use to get the integer value. To do that, we put a little colon, and then we've got a little tilde. So the tilde is a little squiggly sign. Most people will know that the squiggly sign is called a tilde. It's going to copy from which characters? So copy from 0 characters up until 5 characters. So again, if you jump back on here, you're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to bring back that only for me. Then out of that, I want to copy out the hours. So similar concept, I created a little variable, deletion time hour, copy it out of the time I've just got there. Again, colon, the little tilde sign, copy from 0, how many characters? 2 characters. So if I do that, it's only going to copy this. Whoopsie, that over there. After that, deletion time for the minutes. There you go, DTM. Again, out of the same one, out of the current time, colon, tilde, from character 3 onwards 2 characters. So again, from character 3 onwards 2 characters. And that is going to give me my minutes. I then took my hours, as you can see there, times it by itself and 60 minutes, and that will give me the hours. And then to get the total time to check for deletion, I take total hours plus total minutes minus the minutes to check. So that will give me this integer over here, depending on where we are. So now anything that's created prior to this, I can delete. this is where I had a little learning curve to get certain stuff done. So firstly, using a for loop. So a for loop runs through every file that's in there. That's what the little F stands for. I created one variable, so one token is one variable, and I split it on a space. It's going to create the variable starting with percentage %g. So that percentage %g is because it's in a batch file, you need to put 2 percentages. If you use something like this in a normal script, 1% will work. And the script it's going to run is this over here. So directory of the spooler path /b. And the reason why I'm doing it like that is, let me quickly show you. I'm already in that folder. If you go dir, it gives you this information, and this information, which is absolutely useless information to me. But dir /b will give me all of this information. Only the file names that is actually inside that directory. So now I've got something to work with. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a for loop within that for loop. So what this one is going to do, it's going to loop through each file to get the timestamp and date. So it's going to run this query for each file, and I'm going to show you why I've got 2 delimiters, and it's separated by a space. Whoops, wrong copy. Let's quickly copy the right information. Well, technically we can just actually type it out. So as you can see, it brings me back a one-liner with the date. It will be separated by spaces, the time, and then spaces, the size, and the file name. So for every file in there, I want to bring back a one-liner so that I can actually only copy out this. It will start with the h variable, but I'm not caring about the h variable because I'm not using years, dates, and months. Oh, years, dates, and months. Listen to me. Years, months, and days. I'm only looking for the current time. So that is the next variable, which is percentage j, or the j variable. I then want to split that hours and minutes of the j variable. And to split it, you need to split it based on that over there. So the colon. Then again, I've created 2 variables, started with j, and I'm splitting it on, listen to me, splitting it on the I, so that's the time. And the j variable, so apologies for earlier, so the j variable is actually the hours at this stage. The problem with that I found with hours, and this whole little section here, is, sorry, that whole little section there, is that when you pull information on command prompt, so this there, the number 8 is an integer. So if you go set it as an integer from a variable, it will work. But this is not an integer, it pulls through as a string. And if you can't times a string with 60, it doesn't work. I literally got stuck on this for quite a while, trying to figure out why 08 doesn't want it times by 60. Eventually the answer was simple. Check if the first character, that one there, is a 0. If it is, remove the 0 and take the 8. Once you set it on that, it will be a number, you can times it by 60. So I set it, check what it is. I copy the first character. So I'm just copying it into itself, just so I got the actual character. And then I run an if statement. Check if this is 0. Then I'll reset it so I've got the full value, and I'll only copy off the second part. So 01, 02, 03, etc. up until 09. It will copy out 1, 2, 3 up until 9, depending on where you are. If the first character is not a 0, just set it as normal. Once it's set as normal, it will work. So that kind of worked for me, and so far no issues. It will bring it back perfectly. I haven't had one issues in the last week that I've been running this script. Next thing, take that file, times it by 60. So we're basically going to start replicating whatever we did up here on the system time. We're going to do for the file time. So times it by 60, we get a number plus the minutes, and as per the Excel spreadsheet, you will get then these numbers here, the file time created. So again, any time that this file is then bigger than that, delete that file. So on the script, we're going to say, okay, for my purposes to know what's happening, I echoed out or wrote out to a file the system time to delete, the file name, so I can go and check it myself if I need to, and the file time in minutes. And this is what you're going to see here. So the system time is 1323, the file name is 1308, and the file time is 1323. And as you can see, it's not bigger, so it doesn't actually delete it. On the next one, it should delete it out. There you can see it deletes it out. So prior to getting that, let's just quickly close this again. Next thing I'm saying, if the total time to delete is more than the total file hours, delete the file. So there's the if statement. If the total time is greater than the total file time, delete it. And I echo out that as well, that I have deleted it. Similar thing, exactly the same thing, just writing that it's been done. And if I open this again, there you can see file, whoopsie, 1309 was deleted because 1325 is greater than 1324. Okay. Now, the one thing that does happen is if the print spooler keeps the file in the queue, or it's busy trying to process the file, that file won't be deleted. But we don't want to stop the print spooler for every single file that it's going to delete, because it's just going to give issues to other people when they're trying to print. So the first attempt is deleting the file without stopping the print spooler. This should work without any issues. Once this is run, I run it for a second time. There you go. But this time, we check is the file greater, or the deletion time greater than the file time, and does the file still exist? So if it wasn't deleted over here, does it still exist? If it still exists, we're gonna just write, look, we're gonna stop the print spooler now. That's the command, net stop spooler. That will stop the print spooler, delete the file, and start the print spooler again. So any file in the queue should start running through if that was the only file holding up the queue. And then yeah, if we close out all the for loops, if statements, all those kind of stuff, just close it all out, and this will then start from scratch. For every file in there, it will run through this section with the time we created over there. So that way your current system time won't change. If this file has got 1,000 files to handle, it will run through based on that time, and it should work fine. Because this was a test file and I needed some test information to work with, I then create a 0 value file in there. So just a text file with nothing in it in the print spooler based on the current deletion time.txt. And this is all the files you're seeing here. There you can see the file names, that is the deletion time at that time, that .txt. So it's got giving me some information to work with in a demo environment where I don't need to wait for somebody to actually print to test it. And I'm waiting on the timeout of 60 seconds. That way I can get information quite fast depending on where I am at that stage on the script to run it. So this script has been running since I've been speaking, and you'll see it's just jumping the whole time doing something. Next, I'm just telling it to run itself again, and it will go into loop. There you see it will just run into the loop the whole time, and at this stage you'll see every time it runs it will delete one file. That's the stage we were at this stage. It should never have more than, let's see, it's going to delete on 15 minutes, so it should never have more than, say, 14 files running in that location at any given time. So yes, I'm hoping that somewhere I said something that helped somebody here. there's a few stuff that I have not covered. One is this doesn't work with months, days, and years. This was never the purpose of this script. This script was to delete stuff based on minutes. If you want to start deleting stuff based on days, I'm going to suggest something like the for file. So let me quickly copy a line here, and I'll put it nice and big on the screen when you guys are looking at this. This command should delete files based on days. So the for files work specifically only with files. /p is your path that you're working on. /s, I can't remember now what the /s is. Let's quickly check that for you. /s, recursive, so it goes into the subdirectories. /d -14 is the -14 days from the current date. /c is the command it's going to run for each file. And I suggest just going and have a look at this. So this is going to open a command prompt and it's going to pass on delete the add file. So if you look here, quickly opening it here, /c command, there you can see it will echo every file, and you can use variables like add file, fname, ext, depending on what's necessary for you. This variable is pre-built in there, and you can use any of this in a file similarly. So you can delete the add file based on days instead of working on minutes. And yeah, that should cover everything for this. This should allow you to work either or. If there's something that I missed or something that you didn't understand, please feel free to send me a mail and I'll see if I can re-explain it or something like that. I have tested this for the last week, well, a little bit more than a week, with very good success. It's been running every 5 minutes. The people are quite happy with it deleting the file if it gets stuck. And again, it's not as if it gets stuck every hour or so. It literally gets stuck when that one person or one file decides, hey, it doesn't like this application. This is something I also am going to change in a later video. Going to set up group policies to change, for instance, what JPEG, what application is allowed to open it on, or PDF to force it into Acrobat Reader instead of the Edge browser. There's certain stuff that just works better, and that's what I'm going to do on a group policy at a later stage. So if you like this video, click that button, subscribe. If you've got comments, put it down below. Let's see if we can help you or answer a question, or whatever happens on there, let's take it from there. Thank you.